There we go. Christ, had some issues getting the stream started there. I am not an expert on Streamlabs. Alright. Let's get this going. Shoot, hold on. This always happens. Hold up. There we go. I don't know what it is. It's probably because it's an older game, but Dragonica seems to have some delay when being registered by streaming software. There we go. All right. All right, enchanting money. Alright guys, we're going to just knock out these dailies real quick. We'll get the bounty quests in Elga because now we can do them and he gives way more points. So, did I do Paris and Bone though? No I didn't. Okay. Let me get both of these because I need these mats. You can react to the dev update when I'm done with it. Oh cool, Fiso, how close are you? I might be able to do that actually with the web browser view because I have a web browser view which can let me show. Alright, cool. Alright, so it's not just going to be some Elga runs, but the dev's writing a dev update on the beta so far. So we'll be able to do that as well. But first, Monster Rush. Everybody likes Monster Rush. Need to do a bit. Okay. Terps, what's going on, man? They're more monster than usual, or so this is what's called Monster Rush. It's a daily run activity where you to get some F6 ring components. And what you do is you fight wave after wave of monsters and then a boss at the end. It uses Verglis Ridge as a base, so it's most of the monsters from that mission map. And the reason you run it is for... Actually, I'll keep Vitor alive and I'll show you these things. You need these tokens to make what are the new F6 rings in Raid Dragonica. And you need a lot of these to get to like 6, 7, 8 star. 8 star is optimal. 10 star is kind of overkill, but it does give like the best stats. But for the most part, you'll probably be farming 8 star realistically, because to get to 9 and 10 star, you can only do one run of these a day, but you get, I think, 2 of them, or I think 3 if you have rest bonus. I don't know off the top of my head. There we go, that's 3 of them. The 3-star ones are meh. They're good to like start out with, but you want to eventually trade up to higher star. And I did not get a ticket, damn. Like, you want to get to these, like, you'll see, like, right here, Necklace of Destruction, boss damage, crit damage. I'll actually show you the whole trade interface. It'd be faster. Rest bonus doesn't give more, just lets you do it again. Oh, okay, so you can bank additional runs if you miss a daily, because it's a once-a-day activity. Old system wasn't good. Yeah, Perfect hunches are really expensive to stockpile, and you need a good, like, several hundred of them to get a decent star ring, to get a decent set of rings. But, like, you see here, Monster Rush, repeatable. If you get resting bonus, you can do additional runs that day to make up for lost runs. So I'll show you the interface right here. Exchange, see here. You can use accessory tokens to get these different rings. Goes up to 10 star. You see, like, the difference between 8 and 9 and 10 star is considerably high, but it takes a lot more to farm them. Like, we have to go to reinforce here. Like, to get a 4-star ring, you need 3 3-stars and then a 5-star. And you can even shortcut it a bit. You can do 27 3-stars to make 9 4-stars, which can then make 3 5-stars. And you could go up until you can get like a 10-star accessory to get 10-star accessories, but it does take a while to farm them. And you could take, like, you know, 3 of the regular rings to go for higher ones. It's better to just keep the tokens. Around Dragonica France, I did F6 with like 4 Italians simultaneously. You need to make it somewhat more effective. It consumes so much time otherwise. Yeah, that was me in FR in France's what was it called? The Christmas event. I had to do so much you have to do so much F6 to get the accessory set there, and then that wasn't even all of it. You had to do even more for the Blazons. All right, so we're gonna do. Let's do bone. We'll do rare bone, rare Paris, and then Elga. Wait, actually, I need to see something. Does it reset? No, it doesn't. Yeah, I made the mistake of not doing the hard mode Elga, but I didn't have the gear score anyways. So yeah, we'll go dungeon, bone, rare bone. That's probably my favorite thing, is the dungeon interface. I don't know if you're still here, Fiso, but why did you, like, change the shield and heart phase for Elga 3? Is it because of, like, was it, like, glitching? No, it's because the shield mechanic is kind of dumb and you can cheese it anyways, so it's all about just deal damage, so it makes no difference. Oh, okay. I mean, there was multiple ways to just cheese the whole, like, kill it to go into the heart. The only problem is that now you can't really get farm materials out of the chests. How's the connection when playing from overseas? I guess the server is located in Europe, I believe. It's relatively stable. My ping on it's relatively stable. Like, you can always tell what your ping is in a server by using a channeled skill and seeing how long it takes for the blue bar to pop up. As you can see here, there's, like, not really any delay. Ironically, I think my connection here is more stable than official. And official is in California. This is, I think, in either France. I think it's in France. I know it goes off the FR time zone, so. Now, if you're a Southeast Asia player, I don't know how your connection's gonna be, but yeah, it's in Europe. It's in a Europe server, and it's pretty stable for a North American player. I don't really get any lag at all. It's in France right now, but may go to Germany. I don't think I'll suffer too much of a ping difference going from France to Germany. I know, yeah. It may be even better. Server in Germany, 6 ping PvP, Pog. I don't think people have done actual PvP room testing, but Battle Square is enabled in the beta, and you do right now get like raid tokens for weekly getting Battle Square, but that might change in the future. Probably to like daily raid tokens instead. Lower value, make it daily. I don't know the 100% of the details. Fiso's writing up like a dev update for like some changes that might happen. Whole point of this beta is like mainly to test systems and, you know, test progression with the new gear score. 1-1. Ooh, a 3-star. I'm up to 5-star, and I don't want to trade him in just yet. Right, we'll do Paris. I don't really need to do rare mode. And I'm too low gear score to do master, so I'll do rare. Yeah, we'll do normal, just to knock it out real quick. Because we're going to just be doing Elga after this anyways. I feel bad for the US player, like all the good servers are mostly located in Europe, so it's mostly their best option. Eastern US and Canada don't seem to have this issue too much, but Western US, like California, they're probably the ones that are suffering the most right now, because aside from like Asian and I don't even think there is an OCE server, but I know like there are some Asian servers still. That guy who made Dragonica Lavalon, he made, I think this is his 3rd Dragonica server now within like a year. And that one's located in Vietnam, but I don't think that one's gonna work. And I don't know if there's any other Asian servers. Even then, I think California to Eastern Asia, that's still a considerable ping difference. And unfortunately, I don't think there's any like main devs who live in North America that want to make a server. This game is mostly like a European fan base nowadays. Most of the good NA players they just kind of moved on. They went to more mainstream MMOs on this one. The neat thing that is, though, is that a lot of these European developers, they kind of understand that most of their servers are going to be globally accessed, so they're trying to make the experience as good as possible. In the American Dragonica scene, like, the weakest for me, it looks like most players come from Asia, then France. You're kind of right, for the most part. I know from what I've heard, Volya has a huge German scene. Like, but that's because Volya's Russia-based, and I think what happened is they're kind of whaling on the Russian server where everything's kind of easy to pay to win. And then EU, I think, has a lot of Asian players alongside French. But I don't know if there's any German players. I think it goes like Asian, France, and then a little bit of like German, and then like America, Canada is the lowest. Problem is, your only option for like a good a stable Dragonica server in America is official. Oh god, seeing the boss don't have those fixed damage reductions. Critical damage reductions is oddly satisfying. I know, right? Why add 96 different unneeded stats for something that only really applies to PvP? It's so sad that it's satisfying to see. I think that the problem with Evolved is that about 80% of the stats are meant for PvP. I think the only one that matters is like the bosses having X spam reduction. But because like enemy stats are very simplistic, it's just like an attack or magic attack and a defense stat. You don't really need all that complicated. The crits maybe, because enemy critting is like, it adds an extra layer of like, oh, you can't just face tank it, but like, it's not hard to program to give an enemy like a 10% crit rate and like an extra 50% crit damage or something like that. Just knock that out real quick. Then that was like Evolve's main problem, is that it was just kind of like, okay, the enemies have all these complicated stats. It's still just an enemy you got to beat up at the end of the day. I don't even know what Official's been doing either. I keep up with the patch notes, and every patch is just like, we added this to the cash shop. Oh, you can now do this, like trade this gear piece for this, and I'm like, okay, like, I like that you want to make, you know, an extra step above F6 rings, but that's something you kind of reserve for when you raise the cap to 90 and add new content. Or, what is it? Or like, you know, oh, there's a new end. Didn't expect Paris to die so easily. Oh, that's normal mode. And plus my gear is kind of meant for Elga and above. This is just kind of doing this for a daily. Watch I say this and get a Gem of Truth. Yeah, rare mode Paris is considerably tankier. Let me just turn this in real quick. Alright, what am I going to get? Bone, socket card, another pet. Fabric, fabric, fabric. 4 fabrics in a row. Ugh, my RNG is cursed. It's been made complicated for the sake of being complicated. I don't see having a benefit to the player experience whatsoever. Yeah, the only benefit to it, like I said, is for endgame and PvP. And even then, endgame, it almost doesn't matter. A player with max defense break chance and amount will do the same, will pretty much do about the same DPS as a player without touching the stats at all. 4 fabrics would have been a blessing a few days ago. I know, right? I'm full refined too. It's kind of overkill now. Also, I did make Elga wings off stream, just because. And I got a god roll on Soulcrafts. Took a few randos. Okay. Oh, looks like there's party at Elga. Can't do hard mode Elga. Oh, this is the best part too. I don't have to run through channel 100 and get knocked off my mount by a dragon now. I can just go straight there. I gotta do 5 kills. See if my guild will let me join. I already did the Elga daily because I was on last night. I would not even mind if you were like this thing. I just checked the Raid Dragonica's website, and the features they have looks interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting. Some of it is kind of, oh, this is gonna die in like 5 seconds. I have Kura and Emmy. I don't think it's enabled this beta right now, but Chaos Bone is going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun seeing people try to lab attempts at that boss like me and the others did. But I'm going to wait and see what the announcement is. I want to see what the dev update is. Of course you'd say Sophie, so you're the guy who made the thing. Summoners can... From the outside perspective, it looks like monsters die too quickly considering your gear. How does it feel for you? So the reason for that, and I think this is something that needs to be looked into. So gear progression goes with something called refinement, and what it is that you refine pieces like one at a time to, like, you know, get enhanced set bonuses and base stats. And the problem is I'm an overlord, right? Overlords have absurd like attack scaling. Well, when you refine your Zaharant, you get some rather absurd damage values, like 50k attack. Like, I have 160k attack with, like, how all the scaling and stuff works, and I don't even have Bloody Roar turned on. And yeah, this is normal mode. There is a hard mode, but I don't have the gear score to enter it yet. I think I need to actually, like, make and refine the Elga weapon to do hard mode. So, I was running in normal mode. That's why, like, for the most part. The bone was in hard mode, but that's like 15 levels lower content. But, like, yeah, once you start, like, refining your gear, things will start to feel easier until you have to, like, get into the next step, which is to make and refine your Elga set. But I think even with, like, the Elga set, like, aside from using it for the gear score, I don't really see too much of a reason to wear the Elga set until I refine it. That's my one. As a destroyer class, does the sniping skill work like back in the day? 6 shots without a 1-minute cooldown? I'm pretty sure destroyers sniping is normal. I could be wrong. Fiso was the one who played destroyer in beta. He can tell you a lot more about that. Okay, don't know much about the refining. I just figured 15 minutes of weapon with the Sekmathian gear in the endgame dungeon, and monsters die with 1 button press. So this is the easy. Yeah, that's because this is like the easy mode of the endgame dungeon. So, and also, yeah, this goes under a different enchant scaling. Plus 15 here is plus 20, whereas plus 20 is like plus 25. The server has a unique enchant system where it's like, you know, plus 10 is about what plus 15 is. And, like, right now, like what the beta is doing is kind of like testing, like, you know, how progression is, like what needs to be done with progression speed, what needs to be done with like the difficulty in relation to like what you're progressing towards. And I think with the beta up, like with the developer update, that's like Fiso's writing as we speak, we'll probably see more of a like what we need to actually make some of the game progression difficult. Because I know, like, once we get into level 80 plus content, I'll go sleep now. Good luck. Have fun. Alright. You have a good night. I forget some of my viewers are in Europe and Asia. In Asia, mostly. From my personal experience, like, regular monsters are pretty easy, but bosses are usually where things get a bit more difficult with how especially with party scaling. Oh, good. Any feedback on the ping of playing from Asia? I don't 100% know about Asian ping. I know that's been like I know that's like a hurdle for a lot of like Dragonica servers is to have a proper Asian server. That I'd have to ask Fiso about because I don't know anyone here that plays from Asia. Yeah, I saw this live and dropped by. Well, what's up, Weiss? Been a while. That was a mistake. I was going to do that phase 3. I haven't seen any broader complaints about it. I imagine not. I think that's one of the biggest hurdles for... The main issue would be the language barrier. It's going pretty good. Decided to go live for a few hours. Even though Lyft speaks Vietnamese. Okay, one of your yeah, but VN and Chinese are like the two main Asian player base for Dragonica. I don't remember if I think Japanese players felt like the amount of Japanese people who play Dragonica kind of fell down in recent years. I love that we still have the graphical issue of 1 billion wolf rushes existing. I so far am loving that I don't have to like take a step back and recharge some awakening. It just comes back as I use skills. But I can also just charge if I wanted to at the beginning, like just before a boss fight. I think the bug comes from the do not display other skill effects, which clearly only works for some projectiles. I just have it on because I don't want like to run with Emmy or Cage and they do lightning storm and my bit rate dips into the negatives. Oh shoot, I don't have an invoker. I need to actually find the shield. Alright, I got like 30 seconds. Everyone's all, skip the Elga cutscene. No, it lets me hydrate in between phases. That's coming from a guy who speedran Elga back in the day. How'd I out DPS a summoner and 2 invokers? Actually, I'm not going to bid for anything. I think that's... I just need the bracelet now, and then I can start crafting these sets. Any plans already expect server in the upcoming months? There will be new costume content, areas, dungeons to explore, comparable with the size of France's Isoris expansion. So I haven't really entered it yet because you have to make an Elga weapon to enter it. But there's the entire past region continent, which has 4 element dungeons, 2 Warzone dungeons, and Chaos Bone. I think it also has like higher level versions of the base mission maps, but you don't really farm those for anything. You don't really run them, and I don't even know if they work. Yeah, the Warzone dungeons, the end game is pretty decently sized. You just have to... The end game's pretty decently sized. The problem is that once I level to 80, my daily quests and all that will give like stuff for the level 80 plus gear, which I don't really want to do right now. So I will probably start like showing off the content with it when I get like the Elga set and all that, and I'm ready to get that out of the way. But there will be a lot right at launch to do. Like, it won't, with the element dungeons and the war zones, and Chaos Bone probably won't open immediately on launch because FISO wants to give people time to like properly progress to it. But it is going to be like a raid that people are going to be competing to get first clears on for a reward. My buff's bugged. Why did my buffs bug? Yeah, my buffs got bugged because people were still on the loading screen. plan some content for in between, but I will primarily be working on a party of big expansion, and hopefully I can make new raid with mechanics. Hopefully I can find someone to do the animations. I think that's the hardest part of any new content, is to like properly like animate bosses and enemies without without like, you know, just reusing a ton of assets. Because like as much as we like hark on some servers for just reusing bosses, like actually blending and making unique models and animations for said bosses is probably really difficult. I know like with EU, like when I saw Dulcia's boss lineup, I was like, that's Queen Vela, that's Akanai, that's the Mantis midi boss. Costumes we may get from other servers, purchased or just gifted. I can just slap reused content, but that's the same every time. Meet Shield and GG. Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. Like, and that, as much as like I think like EU is a good server, it still has that issue with like nowadays. Like after Alderman, it was mostly just Meet Shield bosses that don't really get too much like mechanic change. Like, Isaurus and Alderman at least had, like, the thing where they, like, used attacks from, like, Elga and stuff, so they, like, hit, like, a truck, and you actually had to, like, pay attention and dodge them a lot when you were soloing. But, like, I don't know, I haven't ran anything in Dulcia yet, but, like, the one or two dungeons I ran, like, you reused a mid-boss, which, like, reused some bosses, and were kind of meat-shieldy. And I know, like, that's, like, Fiso's main thing. Having, like, tested his server, he's really big on, like, you know... Like, you could see, like, how long it took for this server to, like, properly launch off the ground and finally get into its final public beta. And eventual launch next month. And I don't blame him for it. It's because there was a lot that was going on in the background. No offense to him, I think he has a bit of you're a bit of a perfectionist, but in a kind of a good way. Like, it'll be done when it's done type of guy. After Alderman, it became super bad. I didn't play much Dulcia as well. I thought the rune system for Dulcia was nice, because it did this unique thing with, like, passive adjustment to skills. Like, you know, letting you do animation cancels on certain skills, or at the cost of, like, some damage or cooldown. Letting you or this skill getting this trait at the cost of, like... And I had to go through uni, making new encryption and all that jazz. I know, like... A lot of people don't know this, but on top of, like, making the development of this server and going through encryption and all that... Fiso was also in college at the exact same time. I expressed genuine concern for his personal health. But like that, but I think like all that went into this server, like, to make everything work fine. Like the 64-bit update is completely unique for any server right now. I'm talking about the dungeons. Rune system was cool. Yeah. The one dungeon I could run actively was, what was it called? Rockery of Light. The first dungeon. The one that technically came before the actual update. I ran that one, and I don't know. Terps, you might be able to answer this. Was Tavise the one behind, like, all the Dulcia maps? Because I know, like, he did Alderman, but the one thing I had issue with is that the dungeons are very much party play designed. Like, there'll be moments where the path splits, and then one guy clears this way and then jump pads back to the center, while the other people progress the rest of the dungeon. Which is fine in a group with, like, 3-4 people, but it is crap when you're soloing, because you just have to, like, U-turn, run back. And that's probably my main issue with Dulcia was that, like, the dungeons look nice. And, like, EU has this thing with wanting to, like, you know, emphasize the platforming of Dragonica, which I do kind of like in a platforming beat-em-up like this. But then you have issues with, like, okay, the dungeon is balanced clearly around a party, not just in, like, stats and HP, but because the dungeon splits in paths and your solo run is going to be abysmally slower because of that. And I get why. It's because there's, like, now contribution requirements and it helps everyone balance out that, but it's just kind of annoying when you're soloing. I think that's my one suggestion for them, is that to make it to where, like, if there's a path split for solo, because there are dungeons that do that where you only have to go one path if you solo it, which are, like, you know, the pirate dungeon and every event dungeon has that. But, like, I think for Dulcia, and I think, like, at least 2 or 3 of the Alderman dungeons, there's, like, a large emphasis on you have to run it in a group, because otherwise you're going to be doing a lot of U-turning to find missing mobs in an alternate path. To be honest, creating dungeons becomes pretty hard if you take everything in account, because at one point people become so overpowered that people multi-client it to maximize farming. Okay, yeah, I can understand that, being like and there's no real way to block multi-clienting. Yeah, I can understand that. So, fun fact, this server does have blocked multi-clienting. I think for the most part, FISO actually had someone test it. They actually tried to boot up the game in Sandboxy, and it didn't work. Well, yeah. FISO's about to chime in. Yeah, he did technically block multi-clienting in this server. Now, you'll just do multiple PCs, but the system itself can be changed. I like to think that the reason why, like, most servers don't, like, try to 100% combat multi-clienting is because technically at the end of the day you still have to build an entire second character to properly multi-client. But I prefer if it's like there has to be like an effort, like, oh hey, you need to like boot up a second PC or a laptop to do it. So with some dungeons, they made it to where, like, if you enter it with groups, everyone has to go through a separate portal and clear one path alone. Yeah, like, most of their event dungeons and the pirate dungeon do that, and that's fine. It does run into an issue to where if you don't communicate which path you're going into, 2 people will go down the same path, and you can't, like, turn around at that point. Yeah, I mean, multiple PCs with VPN, etc. can't really be blocked, and some people always go to these extents to gain more profit. Yeah, it's gonna happen. But you could do one of 2 things. You could do these subtle changes that, like, make it inconvenient, to where, like, okay, you can do it, but we're gonna make it harder for you. Or you can try to go the popcorn route and tank the game's economy, tank the game's free-to-play, and ultimately send the active player base down to low double digits. Because in the way of anti-botting. For a game that I don't even think has a botting economy. Like, yeah, you'll have a whale that'll bot and mass farm stuff, but, like, I know French people who posted their setup with 6 different devices running Dragonica at the same time. Oh, yeah, that's... I know other people who did that, too. Like, this wasn't even just... This was before enemy team days, when when Chapter 5 first dropped, I'll probably require a premium so you can get direct drops if you're not solo in some content, or reduce the max gold possible for non-premium. I don't know if you. I don't know about that fee. So it's like there's. I understand. I mean, I understand you got to make your bank. You got to make that bag, but I know like this is a very slippery slope for like this is a very slippery like path you got to cross, which is to try and minimize this. You can't outright prevent it, but you can like discourage it in a way. And if you do it wrong, you'll probably encourage it a bit more. Or you'll just like mess with the. You can still get it with raid token and events. Yeah, premium you can farm with raid token and events, and there is things like Battle Square that farm premium tokens or raid tokens. I guess making it more convenient like France is a good way to prevent or weaken multi-claim, but it makes building dungeons even more complicated. Yeah, and that's gonna happen. You have to take the pros and the cons, and you're going to have to like deal with the fact that some players are going to react negatively. What's my crit rate with Fury? Oh wow, 50%. So, you basically just have to play it delicately. Like, just do something that appeals to... That still makes it appealing to play and, you know, fun to play. But make it to where, like, hey, we know they're going to be those guys. We're just going to make it a little harder for those guys. Yeah, harder content. Take party scaling, for example. You must deal more damage to clear if you have that stuff. Well, I mean, you can do F1 premium required for multiple people. Yeah, like, alright guys, my head out. Good luck, have fun. Alright, see you later, Terps. Yeah. Oh, Battle Square started. Wait. Oh, dang. He left at an inconvenient time. I was gonna... Wait, can I... Oh, wait, I already did my weekly Battle Square, didn't I? Yeah, I already did my weekly Battle Square. Yeah. As long as it doesn't detract too much from the like solo play experience or not at all, then it makes it's better to do it at the time. Yep, I finally got the gear score for Elga. I would have had it sooner, but Fiso fixed a bug where Paris Wings gave gear score. But yeah, I'm at 262 exactly. It'll go up considerably once you make the Elga weapon. Once I get the Elga weapon. Of course, I don't know how much it's going to take. Like, I imagine like I'd have to at least refine the Elga weapon for it to beat my Zaharant. And then I could start farming hard mode for refined mats. So what's your gear all like? Plus 15 and refined? No, my weapon is plus 15. My set is all refined 2 with 2 pieces plus 11 and the rest plus 10. This is literally the borderline to enter Elga in Raid so far. Which, whoops. Actually, I need to take that off my hotkey bar. That skill's pretty much useless. What would you say is more important? Plus 10 to all gear or refine them? I would say, honestly, I would start with, because there's no difference in enchant costs to regular and refined gear, refining does take longer to get. Regular enchanting is mostly just RNG, and there's a pity system in this server, so you'll eventually get everything plus 10. But refining has a lot more like hard farming required for it. You got to do a lot of Paris for the cloths and dust. You have to do hard mode dungeons for the crystals. And it's difficult to get it. Now for the weapon, enchanting obviously is more important because that gives you your strong attack that you'll need to farm dungeons like regular and hard mode. But for the armor itself, it might be better to, like, you know, set like a baseline enchant and then refine from there, only going for plus 10 once you've properly finished it. And also, I would say don't worry too much about like the gear score requirement. Fiso has been doing some like thinking. He might lower it again because like normal mode Elga is not really like 262 is a bit overkill for normal mode Elga, especially if you're like experienced enough to solo it. I think he's going to lower it by at least 2 more points more, so you don't have to like plus 11 pieces. God, I hate this boss. Did I make any of my pieces yet? Almost. I'm getting there. Essence of Darkness is going to be the real hard mat to farm. But I can start making my Elga pieces soon. Ish. This is more entertaining than running Dracos over and over again, so... But you'll probably, like, start with, like, your base weapon, and then, like, get your armor to, like, a few enchants, and then start looking for more refining as you enchant on the side. I also hate that super armor Paris does when you get knocked back by using most skills. Yeah, my only the only thing with Paris is that Paris is very much a boss where you have to like let her do an action first and then start DPSing when you get out of the way. Like you wait for her to see if like she's gonna do the frog attack, or if there's like an abnormally long pause, she's gonna do the light pillars. So glad Fisa removed that counter spell she does. So fun fact, there used to be like a bug where if the server hadn't been reset long enough, Paris would actually have no cooldown on her counter, on her reflect, and it would start stacking the duration meter on the screen. And there were some fights where Paris would literally do that skill like 6 or 7 times in a row. And yes, you'd have to wait out every single one of them. That was our cue to Fiso when beta testing to be like, hey Fiso, you need to reset the server because Paris had 9 reflect bars. There were other bosses that did that. Like there was an obvious time that the server had to be reset because they would spam a certain skill over and over again. I remember back in EU where it took like a month for the first Elga kill. It took I think a couple weeks in Warp Portal back in the day. I think it took a good week. However, once like the first bloodies started dropping, most people just gave the bloodies to their ninja, and then it was just GG. Like the floodgates kind of opened at that point. But it was still like relegated to like 2 or 3 guilds that could actively run Elga, so it was. Part of me needs to get a combo medal so I can get some move speed. 2 Palas, 6 ninjas. It was actually like a mix of Palas, ninjas, and invokers. The only reason I was getting Elga clears on my Overlord was because of God of Fury. They really liked the gamble buffs, and Wild Rage was just amazing for ninjas, so I was able to get into Elga groups simply because I was a buffing tool. And it wasn't like Chapter 5 was when Overlord fell off because of Galaxia and, you know, everyone became stupidly tanky, but it was Chapter 4, like, we were still in a bit of a good heyday back then. someone got a refined mat. They can have this. I'm gonna leave. I'd still do Paris. Nothing wrong with still doing Paris. I am not getting any Essence of Darkness, and that is concerning. Oh no, there they are. I have 3. There we go. Maybe souls for my Elga weapon. I get it in 2 more kills, guaranteed. I mean, no. Oh, it's smash. Yeah. The neat thing about this game having a cult following is that your waifu is more obscure. Yeah, it's super awkward because one of the devs that helped FISO with this server is named Paris. So I can't say things like, you know, it makes things super awkward because she'll be in the chat, because she'd be in the voice chat with her mic off, and I'm just like, I can't make a comment about the character Paris being hot because the dev Paris will look at me like I'm a weirdo. I think most of the people in this are like baseline gear score. Yeah. She's about the exact same as me. I don't think anyone's gonna get the gear score for Chaos Bone in this beta at least. Yeah, 350. That's like refined 2 Elga. That's gonna take forever. How helped you get your crit rate up so much? Just from getting good soul crafts and such? Basically, I have a lot of agility when I really shouldn't be. I should be having more strength. Like, I have a lot of agility rolls. My set bonus gives crit rate. Set bonuses give crit rate. How the formula for crit rate works, for the most part. But, one soul craft that's a bit strong in this server is final crit success. Also, one thing you should probably do is, I know it'll cost a few 3-star tokens, but you can get, like, you know, an earring of crits. That's a good way to do it. And then ring of crits. Isn't the agility strat for crit rate? Yeah. But there's also final crit rate, like soul crafts and set bonuses you can get, and special equip options. Let me get some more potions. Go through a lot of these when one of your main ways to burst requires hell mana. I put all my bonus stats into Vit. I still have like 2 more levels to 79. Oh, I put all mine into strength. Oh my, why does this bug out? My buffs are getting bugged out. I need to wait. Intellect and strength are good for damage here. Yeah, you'll probably have really high in your main base stat, depending on your class. I'm sure, like, as the server ages, people will start to develop a metagame for it, like where to put your bonus stats. But the good news is like bonus stat. I think bonus stat refreshes are in the bounty shop. I need to double check. I know skill resets are, and it doesn't take a while. It doesn't take long to get enough of them. Like literally 1 run of bounties will get you a skill reset, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Yeah, but like I'm pretty sure like a lot of the stat formulas got changed around to be more and rebalanced, so they're better in the long run. Okay, run won't bug. I hate getting hit by those dragons just before entering Cerberus because that used to bug the raid. I don't know if it still will. There's also... Some people have, like, really high base stats, though. Like, most agility classes. Like, I played Sentinel, and it was crazy how much final crit I was able to get by the end of the server. Even after some, like, stat rebalances, I ended up having near, like, 80-90% final crit rate with, like, maxed endgame gear. Full 100% crit rate in party, which was... really crazy. Ran into the door too fast. They missed all the random drops. Oh shoot, my destroyer moved. I wanted to give him Wild Rage. So glad I'm playing with the sound effects off. I get to actually appreciate this game's rather underrated soundtrack. Getting a lot of people coming on and off the stream. Oh, shoot. 1 second, please. I have to go AFK and my person started the boss fight. Okay, I hope I can finish this quickly. When you finish the weekly account quest as the reward gets sent to all your characters. No, the main character that clears it gets the reward. So for like, say you want to do your bounties, you might want to do it. It's better to do it on the character that. Oh. 1 second.
Okay, just come out to the living room, please, when you get a second.
Okay, it'll be a few minutes, okay? Alright, as I was saying before, sorry, I'm gonna have to go AFK after this fight. For like daily and weekly accounts, account-based quests, it's the character that does the full final clear that triggers it, that gets it sent to their inventory. So, say you have a level 80 plus character, your daily account bounty quest will give tier 2 enchant materials normally. I know, right? It happens a lot when you look to my family most of my life, so like, you know, I'll often get pulled away from the computer to do a lot of stuff. That's why I'm gonna try and finish Elga quickly. Is the Invoker X attack still good here? Yeah, there's no like weird X spam reduction. However, bit of a mini tease warning. There is a bit of an emphasis on groggy damage. And Invoker can't really build groggy with X attacks, so you'll have to use it with you'll have to do like a mix of skills with X attacking for the most part, but it's kind of a mixed thing because you build up a lot of you do a lot of AoE clearing with the skills anyways. Like some of the skills got buffed to be better for AoE clearing, but X attack like by itself is still okay. Yeah, it's not like a certain server that nerfed it for, well, mixed reasons. It's weird. But yeah, invokers are still pretty good. And also healing support is always needed in harder content like hard mode and Chaos Bone and all that. And plus Invoker in general is just really good for party support. You got Striking Blessing, you got healing, you got... It's great it's got good damage dealing as well. So Invoker's still really good in the server. I would say it's one of the top classes. Don't ask me to like rank or tier the classes though, because I think most of them are all really good, except Dragoon. Like you saw in the beta patch notes, like Dragoon got a ton of buffs. I don't even know if that 100% is like working for them. I don't know anyone who's played Dragoon in this beta. I remember you since the Dragon Saga days. It's good to see you still playing Dragonica. Yeah, you can't really... Everyone's got their, like, their one game you can't really get away from. Is block rate still a thing here? I think it uses Chapter 5s, so... I think it's a Chapter 5 client, so no, I don't think block rate's a thing. It's the Galaxia block rate, where it, like, you have a chance to block a percentage of damage. And I think, like, some of that stuff got like, some of those passives and skills that add block rate got changed, so it doesn't really technically exist anymore outside of, like, the classes that use it. Which is weird. I kind of wish, like, some servers would explore that idea a bit more. The problem with, like, the Chapter 5 block rate is, yeah, it has a chance to block damage, but it has but it cancels your animation to do so. You still get flinched in a sense. Hope we get some Galaxia back. Love the content. I think if any server like brings back Galaxia, it's gonna need to overhaul it, like change how the dungeons work. This is sort of legit private server. I'm always afraid that they'll die after like 1 to 2 years. I mean, I always fear. Dragonica EU is one that's existed for a very long time. It's probably one of the oldest main private servers. Some of them closed for their own reasons, like, I think, like, whether it's internal or not, like, I know a lot of people loved, what's it called? Fantasy. Fantasy was a very popular one, and that one closed, and a lot of people hated that. But that one lasted for a long time, too. A lot of these servers last a very long time. Some of these servers actually... I hated Galaxia and that it was time-gated. Yeah, what was worse was the, some of the dungeons were bugged, too. So you would blow your daily run, and then the dungeon would bug. That was a problem with, like, Ophiokus, back in the day. One of the mobs, which was just a reskin of Dr. Farrell, would, remember that French server with the stolen assets? Which one? It's going to revive the Dragonica community and bring back many old players. I played under G Potato. That's hard to say. A lot of the old community is kind of divided between the various servers. And some of them have completely moved on to different games. Some of them will still watch content, and that's still good. Love the theme of it, but fixing the dungeons would make it cool. Yeah. Alright, let me leave the dungeon. Let me see. Yeah, okay, no interesting drops. So anyways, guys, I'm going to AFK for a bit. And we'll be back. I don't know if the stream's going to continue after that because of the real life thing might need me to do more personal things, so I will be right back.
Set up for you.
Okay. All right, just give me 1 second to get ready, okay? You don't want like mine? Like this little one. That was legal. Alright, I'm back. Unfortunately, I probably won't be able to do my last run on stream. Something's come up. I gotta do a real life errand. So next run you said you were guaranteed Elga weapon. Yeah, so there's a account quest to do 10 Elga runs. You get your weapon guaranteed. But say my 10th run, knock on wood, I get the bloody crystal. What I can do instead is hold the quest on completion. Oh, sorry, my hands. That's a force habit of mine. Is hold the weapon on completion. And let me get into in-game and show it because... There we go. See, like, there's this quest right here. And what it can do is, like, say if my 10th run, I get the bloody crystal. What I can do instead is hold on to this account completion and just go quick farm a recipe and get the mats. And if I ever wanted to say, like, make a second character on this account, I could go onto that second character. This quest will be active on the second character. I could turn it in and get that Elga weapon for that character. And then just speedrun to level 75. If you, say, get lucky like that, like some people got their Elgas, their bloodies, like, first, second clear. You could do that, make a second character, get this Elga weapon. It has a significantly higher gear score. Of course, you probably won't be able to farm too many of the refined mats because you need, I think, multiple of these. But it could shortcut you a bit in the gear score for Elga to do that. Of course, this is beta. I'm only going to run one character for beta. But I will tell you right now, will all your achievements on this account be gone when the server's out of beta? Yes, the beta will wipe, but people who participate in the beta and clear certain things, like I know there's like tokens for clearing certain content, they'll get a little something extra for this beta test. This beta lasts for about a month. But yeah. But I have to go and run like some real life errands, so unfortunately this was a good stream though. Nice hour-and-a-half stream. Wish I could go longer. I was planning to do like 2.5 hours, react to... Actually, let me see like if he's made the post yet. He has not. I was gonna see if FISO had made the developer update. He might have made it but hasn't posted it to Discord yet. Quest, hammer cheat, done, patch maintenance. Nope. It's not available yet. I was going to see if like he made the developer update, react to that real quick, and then end stream, but unfortunately he has not. Probably later today, actually, after like a few hours, if I want to. If not too much is going on, I'll probably do it. Problem is I have work early, so I can't do it in the nighttime. So, but anyways, I want to thank everyone for coming on by and checking out the stream. It is fun to be able to play this server and stream Dragonica again. This is a really old hobby of mine. I'm kind of glad I'm getting back into it. Kind of means a lot to me that I've been able to make so much content for this server with like almost risk-free. Like, I think the age of like Dragonica videos getting copyright striked has been basically done. I say that knock on wood, but a certain other private server, there have been people making tons of PvP videos for it and other content videos for it, and some of it uses blatantly stolen content, and those haven't been taken down. So I imagine, like, I don't think videos are going to get taken down anymore. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to sub if you haven't already to check out more streams in the future. If I stream, it'll probably be more Elga, or if, like, tests for things like world bosses, if they become available. Because I still haven't done the world boss. I need to on this server. Scheduling, man. Anyways, see you guys next time. Stay frosty.